You know what? It annoys me. Why can't a bricklayer, a joiner, a roofer, an electrician become a millionaire? So welcome back to Every Trade Behind the Build. I hope you've had a lovely weekend, guys. I woke up this morning, I thought, you know what, I'm just going to enjoy this weather. It is blazing in Manchester, which is very rare, to be honest. And I thought, you know what, this morning I'm going to work from home. I don't need to worry because KTM, Danny, our kid, TB, they've got everything under control. We've got good project managers. The business is just working right, that part of the business. Anyway, so I'm going to work from home and see what I can delegate out and just get more done out. When I'm on my own at home, I can get right in the zone. And you know what? I'm just enjoying what we've built, where we've come from, and also appreciating what we've got to do this week, which is a lot, to be fair. But you know what? It's rare that I take these moments, but for some reason, I've been waking up nice and early, so sit in the garden, nice cup of tea, and clearing my mind and getting ready for the week ahead. On Project 𝗕𝗨𝗟𝗓, we're cracking on. Adam and Eve are doing what they do best, which is making heavy progress. So let's check in with them boys. Mega, you know, so nice. I love the blue skies. We hardly ever actually see them in Manchester, to be honest. I don't like it too hot, but this is okay. But it's going to get hotter later on today and later on this week. So yeah, Adam and Eve smashing it, doing what they do best there, which is basically laying bricks. We are spreading them quite thin at the moment, but they don't actually moan ever. They handle the pressure so well. We're so lucky to have them, and Mike as well, who keeps them stocked up. So yeah, I'm going to try and do this once a week now, which is work from home, just spend maybe half a day. I'm going to go into the office later, but just half a day at home and delegate everything that I can do, because I've got to have a look at where I want to be in business, in my life. I was speaking to Alex about this the other day, and he's a few years younger than me, believe it or not. But you get to a point in your life where you're thinking, what do I want to do? Where do I want to go? How do I want my day-to-day to run? And I'm starting to think, you know what, I want to work my way up above my businesses. I want to appoint somebody in each of our businesses that will basically almost be like the managing director of those individual businesses and then feed up to me and Alex. And we've been quietly doing that behind the scenes. KTM pretty much runs a show at Every Trade, as you know. And then at Preferred Joinery, we've just appointed Mark, who will work with Carly and Mike, and eventually they will hopefully take the load off Alex there at Preferred Joinery. If you've not watched Preferred Joinery, check it out. It's out every Saturday morning. It's mega. It's about the inside and the running of a bespoke joinery company. But so you see the actual craftsmanship, but you also see us trying to build the business, a lot like Behind the Build. And then obviously we've got the Emperor Property, which is our lettings and property portfolio management company, and we've got Lindsay in place there, and she's doing really well. We've empowered her as much as we can. So there's other little bits behind the scenes. We've got the dig in the yard. He kind of looks after the yard. So where possible, I want to try and empower people. But me and Alex, I won't say we're micromanagers, but these are our babies. We gave birth to these businesses and we love them. And it's very hard for us to sort of hand over everything. It's having that time to show someone how to do it properly, how you would do it. And that's the great thing I've got about KTM. He basically thinks like I do. Sometimes we finish each other's sentences, which is a bit weird, but yeah, it's good and I'm pleased. So yeah, I'm going to set up shop at home for a bit, see how I get on. Not really set any kind of time to go in. Might not go into the office, but I reckon I will, because I absolutely love that office and I love the people in it. So yeah, let's get this day started. So you know what? I've actually done more in the first probably 20 minutes of being at my desk at home than I would do in a day of being at HQ. Now, that's nothing to do with the guys. It's just purely my ADHD and just getting distracted and getting myself into things that I don't need to be involved in. So I love it. I'm going to try and do this. You know, it's peaceful. Got to see my kids go to school. Normally I take them, but my missus took them today. So happy days. The one bad thing is I had to take the shopping in that got delivered, which I'm not a fan of. I don't know where anything goes in the house. I've just found out, seen an alert, the Talking Shop podcast that I did is now live on YouTube. If you're into every trade, if you're into business, and if you want to learn more about my story being a massive underachiever, getting rubbish results in my exams, and then, well, building what we built, then check it out. It's live now, the Talking Shop podcast. And put a comment and tell them that I've sent you. So they're good lads, them, and they're producing some amazing content. And obviously, Mr. Louise did it too. So yeah, over at Project 𝗕𝗨𝗓, we've started to get ready for the final finishes now. And a part of that is the underfloor heating. So let's check out how they're getting on at Project 𝗕𝗨𝗓. So hopefully that job is going to come to a conclusion quite soon, because as I'm always banging on about at the moment, we're short on the ground, although we've done some pretty good recruitment actually the last couple of days after the no-shows from last week. So hopefully we've got a couple more starters starting next week. And I think what we're going to do is send one to Project Dudley to work alongside Phil, one of our main guys, get a good look at him, and then send one of the other guys probably to Project Toon actually, which we will bring you soon on the channel, because that's probably the biggest project we've got going on, we will have for a while. So I am really passionate about builders, because obviously I started out as a builder becoming millionaires. I'm passionate about anyone, don't care who it is, with an idea or a plan or something, turning it into success, because I know that I've managed to carve out an all right life for myself, so's Alex, and I just really believe that anyone out there with an idea and some belief and some self-confidence can build whatever they want. It's possible. Believe me, I'm walking proof. I'm not saying I'm Richard Branson or any of the, you know, really successful billionaires, but I've done all right, yeah, and I don't even feel like I'm anywhere near where I'm going to end up on my journey. And property has been a massive thing for us. You know, we bang on about that. We've got operational businesses, which is what I love, but it's backed up by bricks and mortar. And Alex is looking at one of his very first property, I think it was, this week, because they do maintenance every sort of turn of the tenancy. We get in there and we make sure that we get them looking tip top. And we were reflecting on where he's come from, being an electrician, to where he is now, to having, you know, a decent size property portfolio, over £11 million of property we've got. So yeah, let's check in with Alex and let's reminisce.
This is a step back in time, so this is my first ever HMO. It's mad being on here now. So at the moment we're going through the changeover where the students have all moved out and the new ones are moving in, but we have a 4-week gap on some of the houses where the students are only paying half rent and they don't move in until the 1st of August. So that gives us 4 weeks to do maintenance, heavy maintenance or upgrades, and this property needs it now. So this property, as I say, back in 2016 I bought this, and back then I was an electrician on site, and my mindset was I wanted to add in some extra income to assist me in case I didn't have work on or I didn't have enough money coming in. Bit of a, you know, a step back if it needs to fall back into anything. So I bought this in 2016 on a first time buyer's mortgage with the mindset of making it into a student HMO. So I'll delve deeper inside a little bit more about that, but it's still standing here today and there's loads of maintenance works that we're doing on it. But the term or the name Emperor, which is our company now, as you see it, comes from this house. So this house being on Empress Road, I thought back then I'm going to call my company Emperor, and back then I only wanted 5 houses. I was prepared to buy 1 a year, and that was my goal. 1 a year for 5 years, still work on site as an electrician, but have the 5 houses in the background paying me extra passive income as well as working on site. But then when I got to house number 2, that's when it changed, and I was like, my mindset was changing in from going to work and being paid per hour for what I did to then going to work for a bigger cause, to get a back end of money coming in which would be reoccurring consistently. So I'm working and putting my time into something that's going to pay me forever. So then that mindset shifted then when I got to my second house. But to go more deep into the story, it's probably worth a totally separate video altogether, which me and Chris may do in the future. If anyone's interested in it and finding more about how we started and what we got into, then let us know in the comments, because we'll do it. We'll do a video for you. But as I say, in here, loads of upgrades are happening, and I'll go inside and show you what it's like in the first ever HMO. So yeah, inside, this is why we do certain things now going forward in the future. So you'll see now all the membranes on. This wasn't on, so over, you know, this house is, you know, a couple of years old now. Talking 8 years, it's had 8 years worth of tenants. So this property has been refinanced twice, and I've had 8 years worth of rent coming in on this, so that could pay for itself 10 times over. But things are starting to crack, as they say, and problems that always come up every year is we have damp and condensation build up around the bay window, which is why we've took the plaster off and we've put the membrane on, which you can see. Also, I kept the original windows in, and these are very, very old windows, and at the time I was on a tight budget and I needed to make it work because I didn't have the money to pay for certain things. So all I did was change the handles and I kept the windows in, but they're not very good efficiency wise. So when we have the cold weather outside and it's nice and warm inside, we had a lot of condensation build up because they're just not working properly, they're not venting properly. Even though we put vents on temporary ourselves, it just didn't really work. So we were getting loads of water running down into the rooms, so this one and upstairs. So we decided this year, with us having a 4-week gap before the next students move in, let's get new windows fitted. So I've ordered new windows for this room upstairs and the back bedroom. All of the windows are swapped back in 2016, 2017. Getting a new front door, because that front door for some reason was not the one I wanted back then, and it's the PVC door. So we're swapping that because we've had problems with that, with tenants not open and closing properly. So we're swapping that for a composite like we do on our new ones. And also I tiled last year the floor where Niall is behind. So you'll see here, this had laminate flooring all the way through the property, and it was coming apart and wearing quite a lot because it's heavy traffic in this area. So last year we only had time to do this section first, so we stripped the laminate back halfway and tiled this. Now this year, because we've got more time, and I'll say the next set of students aren't moving until the 1st of July, we've stripped up the existing laminate, and we're going to take this tiling right the way through now. So it enabled us to do a couple of things. That's why we thought, let's tackle the front of that there and knock all the plaster back. So the tile will run all the way through, put a new carpet up the stairs as well. The stairs there have just been re-secured with MDF resin glue because they were creaking a bit. So there's a little hack you can do there with nice little thin MDF, glue the life out of it, clean the glue back and then fit the carpet, there'll be no more creaks. Cheap and efficient way of fixing stairs. This one being bedroom 4. So in this whole house as well, by the way, at the time I couldn't work out how to get 6 bedrooms all en suite. So I devised a floor plan, which I've never used ever again. But I got 5 rooms with 3 of them being en suite and then 2 of them being like a Jack and Jill shared bathroom, which you'll see in a sec there. And that was the best I could come up with, but you know, still to this day it fills every single year because it's a 5-bed with en suite, sort of say. It goes well every year in terms of demand. There's always demand for it because there's loads of 6 beds in the area, so you've always got a little bit of competition with other student providers. But this being a 5-bed en suite goes like that all the time, which is a good thing, and gets good rent as well. It's getting $150 per week per person this year, which for a property that I did 8 years ago is great. And the interest payment that it's on at the moment was when we had the lower rates, just before it all started kicking off. So you know, good money to be made on this one. But yeah, up here in this room you can see all plaster's been knocked off. These windows are getting swapped. As I say, the old windows, condensation's coming through. It's not that great in terms of efficiency. So I'm just running down the walls all the time, the water, and there's not more that a tenant can do other than have the windows fully open. So we decided this year, let's get it all took apart. And I say outside as well, all the bays are going to get cleaned back, painted up nice, and done the way we do it now, which is like the little cream colour, whereas back then I was doing the grey. So I'm going to put it into the cream, nice front door, and then get it cleaned down. Loads of little paint marks as there was always from where the tenants have marked stuff. But because we're doing so much heavy maintenance this year on it, makes sense just to do a nice little paint through too. I've always had loads of issues with the roof on this section here leaking, so the lads are going to get on there and see what they need to do to fix that. And you can see bits of stain block that's been sprayed and dotted about throughout the year where they've just been trying to rectify issues without fully fixing it. But given we've got 4 weeks maintenance time, let's do it all properly in it. But as I say, all the properties now, all the tenants have moved out of the existing ones, and they're all going through that transition now whereby tenants have either moved straight in already, so they only have to have a clean and a quick bit of maintenance. But the ones where we've got 4 weeks on, like this, we sort of tend to carry out heavy maintenance work, like you can see there, because it gives us the time frame to do it, hit it, get it done, clean it down, get the next set in. And this property now will stand the test of time again going forward. And as I say, people probably watching think, why are you going through that much work to do what you're doing? And it's just us protecting our assets, looking after what we've got. Me and Chris have got the mindset that we're in this for the long term, and we want to keep our assets prim and proper so we can charge high rent and continually keep up on that rent every year, so that our return on investments continues to grow. And if we just left this property, for example, to just stay the way it is and not do any like heavy maintenance, the likes of that, changing the windows, because they are fine, there's nothing wrong with them. You know, if you were prepared to deal with the fact that it's got heavy condensation coming through, then most landlords will just leave it and let it just tick over, still get the rent. But as in a couple of years' time, this property would need a heavy refurb and wouldn't get the rent. You'd struggle to fill rooms, and we're not about that. We want our product to be top end, so that's why we do what we do. So yeah, it's mad going back in there, seeing that. And what's funny this time round is all that blood, sweat and tears that I did back in 2016, 17. I'm not even doing that work in here now. The lads are working away doing it, and it's just a mad feeling being in there, seeing all that happening, and me physically not doing it, because at the time I was working 10 hours a day and going there every night, and I remember being in there till like 2-3 o'clock in the morning trying to get it done. Because I've done most of the work myself. I had the help of Ben and Josh, who probably watch this still now. They were in there with me, helping me doing the extension. I had the help of other people. I had a couple of bad issues with plumbers and stuff, which caused leaks and all that. My dad did loads of work on there with me, done all the painting, all the bits and bobs. And then on the second house, my dad went on to do all of that with me, because together we worked full time doing it. But yet the numbers on there is mad. I only spent like 62 grand I think back then doing it. Bought it for 91, spent 62. Oh, it's cheap. If you're doing this today, it would be absolutely flying in terms of property. But then numbers just don't exist anymore. Back then it was a little bit easier. But as I say, if you want a bit more of a deep dive into numbers, figures, property, and how we started and what the progression was into the next houses and how we changed from working on site as an electrician, like people may be watching now, we work on site, to then coming into what we do now, into having property, owning businesses and running the day-to-day runnings. It's a big transition and something that back then I didn't think I was even going to do. So yeah, if you want to know more about it, let us know, and me and Chris will delve into it. So back over to Manny.
Yeah, I reckon it's about that long. Can anybody scale? Old-fashioned way. Sat in TB's office chair, and you know what? I think when we get into new HQ, we need to invest, because these are not comfy and they squeak a lot. And posture is everything, isn't it, our kid?
Is that?
You've been told about your posture. It's good to see Alex's journey there. You'll see where he started from being on site as an electrician. He had a vision, and you can see how his progress, his vision has evolved over the years. And as I said before, that is possible for everybody. I'm waiting to see what my daughters get in their GCSEs and in their SATs. I literally have been telling them I do not care. They don't want to let me down. They don't want to let their family down, whatever. They don't want to let themselves down. But I'm like, listen, it doesn't matter. Particularly Harmony, who's dyslexic. I'm like, it does not matter what you get in your SATs. They are there, one size fits all, to test the school. But you can see there, perfect example of Alex on site as an electrician, albeit a very successful electrician, but now has built a property portfolio worth over £10 million, more even. So, you know what? And that will pay him and me and our family for the rest of our lives, hopefully. So it just proves, doesn't it? You don't have to be super clever, super talented. If you just have a vision and you graft, you can make a success of yourself. And also, it depends what you deem as success. Someone said the other day in the comments, I can't remember his name, but, oh yeah, I'm always bragging about my wealth or something like that. I'm not. I never once brag about wealth. I don't think I'm wealthy. All I want to do, or Alex wants to do, or anybody here wants to do, is just show people watching what we're trying to build, good and bad. And also, if I can inspire one person who was like me, was an underachiever, that, you know what, with a bit of graft and an idea, you can build whatever you want. Tell you what, if you know someone that's waiting for their GCSE results or whatever, send them this. And I want to say to you, it does not matter. If you do not get what you think you need to get or you wanted to get, honestly, it doesn't matter. Most of my GCSEs were rubbish. I got an E in maths. An E in maths, and now we do a pay run that's like 70, 80 grand a week. Surround yourself with good people. And you know what? There's this really clever invention called a calculator. And that's all you need. So I'm not putting people down that are maybe really academically bright and have worked really hard to get their GCSEs and stuff like that. I respect that completely, and that's amazing. I hope you achieve everything you want in life. But you know what? If you don't worry. Just have an idea, put it into action, and stick at it. That's what me and Alex have done. Isn't that right, our kid?
Yes, mate.
So yesterday there was an incident on the M60 motorway in Manchester. That's the ring road that goes right around Manchester. And what it meant was the whole motorway was shut in both directions. Now, that motorway cuts right between where we work. We rely on that motorway so much we didn't even realise. It meant that a load of our guys, it took them ages to get to work, but also the grab and aggregate side of the business pretty much shut down because that was on the other side of the motorway. We had to go through that junction to get to our yard. So what was really good though, luckily, by the way, everyone's fine. No one was seriously hurt, even though it's written off the motorway. It's going to be closed probably till Friday, but we used our tracking system, which was really good. And we were able to plot routes re-divert the guys closer to where they were and try and make sure that everyone got to somewhere. So essentially, we looked at the tracker, we saw where the guys were when they were clocked in using our other software, and we diverted them to local sites. What's also nice as well, that, again, I think I talked about this in a previous episode, but look, I feel like a weather presenter here. We've got Matty Gratti in 𝗕𝗨𝗃𝗟𝗓. We've got the guys up in Newcastle on Project 𝗕𝗨𝗓, which we are going to get to in a few weeks. And then obviously the full operation in Liverpool and then around Manchester. So I forgot how useful this tracking software is. And I spoke to the owner of it and I was explaining he actually had some recommendations from you guys already. I know the Ray brothers have just signed up and put all their fleet on it. You can also track your plant, your sort of key tools, anything that's got power basically. But most of it, we use it for tracking vehicles. It can tell you if they're speeding. You can also read the head units in HGV as well, but it's good for route planning and it's good for knowing where our stuff is. For example, we know there that our digger is still at Baxenden car breakers because James is using it for a bit longer, which is absolutely fine by us. If you've not watched our Tim over at Baxenden car breakers, get that watched. Anyway, let's go and have a look how Dale, who's not been in this episode for quite a while actually, is getting on over at New HQ. He's going to try and get it up and running and then fix our kid's car, which I'm still debating whether to charge him. I'll have to think about that. But yeah, let's have a look at Dale, the human Swiss Army knife.
Hello. So I've managed to get myself in the new unit, the new HQ that is. So whilst I've been busy doing other things, I have also been trying to get set up in here. So what we've got here is a tyre balancer or wheel balancer for when we now change our own tyres also. And that is the old compressor, the reel. So had the electrician in, put me some extra sockets there and over here. These ones will be for my welder and plasma cutter because I'm going to have sort of my workbench area here. I don't know where that's going as of yet, but yeah, got the ramp in with the first customer's car. This is having discs and pads all round. So yeah, nice first job in new HQ.
Few of you eagle-eyed viewers might have caught a glimpse of this man. The man is too good looking to be on camera. Danny, our estimator, but now also a project manager. He's looking after Project 𝗕𝗨𝗓. Obviously we're supporting him here in the back end in the office, but he's doing a great job. The reason I took that decision was because He knew the job back to front. He's priced it. He's worked on loads and loads of rounds of value engineering, which is where the customer's trying to get the price of the project down. He's done a great job, and I thought, you know what, it'll be nice for him to get some experience managing a project. And so far, it's going amazing. The customer is giving me updates and saying he's absolutely blown away with the progress. So well done to Bizzo and all the guys over there, but well done to Danny and all the back office team. But remember, Danny is still an estimator, and we let you guys, if you own a construction company or you're a tradesman or whatever, or you're a property developer, to use Danny to come up with your own estimates and prices or whatever if you're stacking a deal. So if you do want to make use of our estimator service, then get in touch on our Instagram page or come on via the website, everytrade.co.uk. Just find a way of getting in touch with us, and then we can put you in touch with Danny and get pricing some of your projects. The level of detail we go into, which is probably the reason why we have been successful on that side, is finite, right down to the screw. A lot of you guys might not realize you're underpricing, you're overcharging, whatever, you don't know, but Danny will price it right and make sure that you guys make money. No pressure. And one day, we'll get him on camera. Let's go over to Project 𝗕𝗨𝗟𝗓, the new build that we're doing, that Danny priced here, remember it, last year at some point, priced it a few times. We're getting there now. We're ready for the roof, almost. And if everything goes in our favor, we'll be on with the roof structure next week. Customer's been really patient. It's been one of those things, waiting for materials, this, that, and the other, but we've got the boys on it now, so let's catch up with the guys at Project 𝗕𝗨𝗟𝗓. So there you see somebody else's development there we're building out, but as you know, we also build our own stuff, especially in and around the student HMO market. That's just mine and Alex's chosen strategy at the moment, although we've got Project 𝗕𝗨𝗟𝗓 and other bits in the background that we own. So yeah, it's nice to make other people money, but long term, we're trying to do it for ourselves. And we've done all right. We've got to 30 student houses, we've got some commercial units, some shops, some land, and a few other bits and pieces, some single lets as well. So yeah, it's doing quite well. But what I'm excited about, I've just seen Project Adelaide 2.0, the latest glossy video that Niall, who does the stuff for us video, the Hollywood of Liverpool, shall we say, has delivered to us. We use this now every year to fill our properties, and it's only ever going to look as good as it does now at this point. So we take that opportunity to get some glossy images and some nice video. So let's have a look at that, but let us know what you think. These properties are mine and Alex's babies. And as I said before, we strongly believe that people like you, whatever you're doing right now, can do what we've done. There's people far more successful than us doing it, and they've made loads of money, and their families are having an amazing life, which is what it's all about. So let's have a look at how Project 2.0 turned out. So yes, as you can see, we are at new HQ. And you know what? We've made some nice progress. A lot with Dale, as you've seen, we'll have a look at that in a minute, but we've used one of our new recruits from the interviews last week, Thomas, who did really well and is a multi-skilled guy. So we've given him this floor as a bit of a trial. It's quite nice actually, because obviously we can keep an eye on him, we can watch on the cameras, have a chat with him, and he can show us what he can do. I'm pretty happy with what he's done. There's a lot to do still. Next step is to get the joist hangers on and deck it out in cable floors. So what we've done is we've worked it. Luckily, there's an existing floor in there, which I thought was just a ceiling, but actually it's structural timbers. So that was the perfect datum point, because we knocked a block through. If we come right through there, that is the perfect floor level. So we're just going to continue that through. So we get some 22mm cable floor, which is chipboard, run it right through, joist hangers, and then we're done. Looking good. There is actually another workaround which we've come up with, which has prevented the need for some expensive steel. Checked it with the engineer, so I'll show you that in a bit. But from this vantage point, you can see that we're getting there. And it's good now that Dale is actually working at New HQ. So you might remember in last week's episode, I told you about between these two vertical columns here, I thought what we'd do is get some steel in there, mount timber inside the webbing of the steel, and then run the joist into it. The other option is we could have run steel underneath and then sat these timbers on, but I had a chat with the guys and I also spoke to the engineer, and he said basically a cheaper option is to just put these on legs and sit them on the wall. Spoke to my engineer, I've got a good, really good relationship with him. He was like, yeah, that's fine. It's going nowhere. Absolutely fine. So yeah, pretty happy with that. It saved us some money on steel, saved us some labour, and it's also meant the job can keep going. Because as I said in last week's episode and a few episodes now, we're really tight on the ground on labour. I've got a few more new recruits starting, which is good, but obviously we can't just throw them all in. We've got to sort of get them on a job, put them with someone, keep an eye on them, and check that they're right for us and go from there. But yeah, I'm happy with this now. So the next step is, like I say, get the decking, get the floor in. Adam and Eve will finish the block work, and then we can start getting some stud work up and form the offices. It's a tight deadline, as is everything with us, but really we need to be in New HQ fully operational by the 1st of September 2025. Got ramps, as you've seen before, working, which is amazing. And Dale, because you're a little bit taller than me, aren't you? Look, but you can send a van right up now, can't you?
Yeah,
how does that feel?
Stand under it, it's great.
That's good. He said
really good.
it feels a little bit like a proper workshop now. What we're going to do, eventually when we've got everything settled, we're going to paint the full floor, but we're going to do some markings so that Dale can reverse in and not take out the ramps. But what else have you done?
So these are now plumbed in.
Oh yeah, let's have a look at this.
Yeah.
Yes. So these are all working?
They're working, yeah.
So we are...
The fuse I've got on that extension leads.
All right, are these going to be the final positions?
Give or take, I've not fixed them yet. But
Yep.
Yeah.
They work?
I'd say so.
What happens if I press...
Yeah, so
press that?
that spins it round, yeah.
Whew.
Then you lift it up with your toe and it'll spin it the other way.
Nice.
And there's obviously that just drops it into the wheel, or takes it off the wheel, puts it back into the wheel. Then all your ups and downs and...
Yeah. Might go and give someone a puncher so we can practice.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is good.
Got a tyre to change on Tom Connors actually.
Oh, okay, on Tom's van, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is starting to feel like a proper workshop. Do you feel better with it, the space?
Yeah, loads better, yeah.
Yeah, by the way, Dale's not got a mic. Hollywood was up to no good and forgot to bring the other mic. So if you can't hear Dale, I'm sorry about that. Also, we've got this, which these are great value for money, by the way. That brand there. I mean, I know it's not Snap-on, but we're just debating whether to... How do you move it? Oh, there you go.
Yeah.
That's why I'm a pen pusher. But yeah, whether to move it about and keep it flexible or whether to keep it in a rigid position. But I think that we're going to get more of this stuff anyway. So I've said to Dale, really, this is the end of his workshop. But he's already taken some liberties and he's down here. So what do you reckon to this purchase that I made the other week?
Good, it's not actually that bad,
Is that all right? I won't say how much I paid for it though, because we got ripped off. And then obviously, this is going to be sorted. This is a parts washer, right?
Yeah.
That was a good purchase, wasn't it? If it works.
Very good,
assuming it works. Because it'll have a pump inside, but
yeah.
I thought we needed...
It all comes on. Like I think it turns on,
Alright.
it says that you need to fill it,
Yeah.
add fluid,
So, if this works, another good purchase, and I thought it needed plumbing in, but it doesn't, because Dale said it's all self-filling.
it recirculates the
And then you have to then get someone in to come and take away
Yeah.
the pollution. But yeah, it's looking good. It's good actually that we've finally got some bits doing. It feels like because we've been paying rent on this now for over 2 months. So we're finally going to be monetising this, because Dale can base yourself pretty much here now all the time. And yeah, we've got a lot more to do with the rest of it. Oh yeah, let's go have a look at Project Midway, which is our garage conversion. Again, it's what I love about our business, talking about setting up a mechanic workshop, and now we're going to look at a garage conversion, but I love it. So let's go have a look and see where we're up to on Project Midway. You know, there's many perils and many good things about being in business. Obviously, a lot of stress, but also you get the opportunity to provide your family and friends with a nice life if you do well. That's just business generally. But being a builder and owning your own building company, sometimes you feel like anyone that needs any assistance when they're buying or doing up a house or any kind of construction DIY, they just want open access to you. And you know what? I don't mind that at all, because especially if it's family and friends, because it's, I don't know, I mean, if I've got that knowledge and I can help someone in some way, then great. But what has happened a couple of times recently is people who have never done anything for me ever, and I don't give to receive, but also don't even bother with me. Sometimes family, and they've got a project ongoing, and all of a sudden I start hearing from them, and when I see their number on my phone, I think, I guarantee this will be a question about something technical, or whether I can help them get something, or they can borrow a tool or something. And I'm stupid, because I'm generous and I enjoy helping people. I take the call, and you know what? There's not even any small talk sometimes. It's, have you got an access tower? Have you got a breaker I can borrow? And you know what? There's not even any politeness. It's like, how's your family or whatever? But I do it and I fall for it. But what's really not ground my gears, but hurt my feelings a little bit, is one of these people, I needed a tiny little favour off them. And I hate asking people for favours, because I never want to be accused of giving to receive. And I really don't like the rejection when people say no, especially if it's people that I've helped out a lot. It really hurts my feelings, because in my head I'm thinking, I've helped you so many times, you just won't do this little thing for me. So I don't like that feeling. I don't like that feeling of bitterness or anything like that. So I just don't ask, very rare. But on some occasion, when it helps me help somebody else, or I really, really need to tap into someone, I'll ask for a favour. And when that person says no, oh, that cuts deep. And we've had it recently where a friend of a friend who we've not heard from ages, they're buying a new house, and they contacted my wife directly, even though they know how to get hold of me. And they said, oh, is it possible to ask Chris if it's worth buying this house because of these reasons that have been flagged up on the pre-purchase survey? So when you buy a house, a lot of the time your mortgage company will make you get a pre-purchase survey where a surveyor will go around, usually pay him about $1,000, and they'll say, that's not right, I'd have a look at that, get a survey for that, get a survey for that. Those documents, not worth the paper they're written on, because usually what happens is they'll always cover their backs because they don't want to get sued. So then I get sent them. Now, we charge that service for that service in here. We call it a pre-purchase survey ourselves. So we'll get it sent to us, and we'll go around, have myself or Kieran, and we'll go and we'll say, we think it's going to cost this, this and this to repair those things. And then they'll use that document to try and get a discount on the house. So if they've got to pay for our time, I think that's fair. But then this person who I've not heard from ages, wasn't actually my friend, it's more my wife's friend, but they know me. Never bothered my wife for ages. Said, oh, could Chris do it? So I helped him out, I looked at it, and I gave him a couple of bits and said, yeah, it looks like a good property, an overview. They went, oh, could you do as a written report, a little written document with prices, so then we can use that to try and get the price down. I was thinking, wait a minute. So you want me to give up my time, my personal time, because I can't really do it in work time because I'm too busy, to write you a report and do all that, and then you're going to just use that to leverage something that's going to help you? Okay, that's fine, but oh, by the way, it's this price. So, oh, you want to charge us? Well, I need to. It's, it's my experience, it's my time, it's my knowledge. We're not really friends, are we? All right. Yeah, no worries. There. Yeah, we'll sort something out. Thanks anyway. I was like, oh, and that really grinds my gears. So, not even bothered. See how we are. Not even asked me how my family is. Straight to it. Basically wanting to use us. I don't know. Do any of you get that? As tradesmen or business owners or experts in your field, or, having something that people can benefit from, do people try and use you? It's okay, like I said, if it's family, friends, colleagues, I'd do anything to help anyone. And I think you struggle to find someone that said, I haven't tried to help him. However, when it's someone that you haven't spoken to for ages, doesn't take any interest in your life, wants something that's going to make them loads of money, come on, play the game a little bit. Nice day though. Uncle Terry's van, not had the clutch done yet, but in fairness to Dale, he's been setting up the workshop. Now it is set up, we can send this right up into the air so Dale can work underneath it. We couldn't do this in old HQ because it was the high top van. I did say to Dale though, make sure this is not left out overnight because it's got tools in. I must be Mystic Chris because I don't know what it is, it must be experience and just learning the hard way, but I know that if this I'll get left out, someone's gonna break in, take the tools out, so I don't want to take the risk. It's mad how I can foresee those things in business, but probably because it's happened to us. Pretty much anything that could have happened has happened. So that is it for another episode of Every Trade Behind the Build in a very sunny Manchester. Apparently there's going to be a heat wave this weekend, and I am at Chester races. You never know, might bump into a couple of you, but I'll already be done by the time this goes out. But if I do see you in the future, but this will be in the past, then I hope I was not too drunk and I was nice to you. Have a great week. Enjoy it with your families, whatever you're doing. Next week, we're going to smash it, do more in HQ, keep building this business, keep pushing it along, and you know what, just having fun. Have a great weekend, guys.